Hello, property nomads. Hope you're well. Very important video today because according to the Daily Express, a digital euro plan is a sinister EU plot to control money supply, warn Brexiteers. And surprise, surprise, I completely agree with this. For those that might be living under a rock, or for those that don't believe how far the government can take things or the EU can take things, then digital currency is pretty much going to be the pinnacle of control. We're going to explore that in this article. So this comes from the Daily Express, and yes, the way that it's been branded is that yes, of course, us Brexiteers are evil, and that we don't trust the EU with anything. But let's take the politics out of the equation and let's look at the implications for digital bank currencies that the EU are proposing moving forward. So, in a nutshell, people are warning that a digital euro can pose a serious threat to the freedoms of people living within the bloc. Absolutely. UK-based opponents are saying that they have cautioned the Prime Minister against doing something similar. Now, we've got to look at why this is the case. So this all comes down to control. It's all about control. How far can the government take things? How far can they control your life, control my life? I mean, it's our job to fight back, and it's our job to invest properly and understand what's going on. That's why we always recommend that you have a serious look at gold and silver. For example, the physical stuff, gold and silver. We always recommend, we don't recommend these things. We recommend you take the time to study them. And then if you decide to want to buy some, that's completely up to you. We normally follow after the EU, despite the fact we're not in the EU, we like to follow after them. And the digital currency that the ECB, the European Central Bank, it does want to implement it. And it was moving forward with proposals to launch a digital version of the single currency moving forwards. And good old Christine Lagarde, who's no comment, she said it was important to, and I quote, prepare our currency for the future, end quote, and denied a digital euro would replace cash. Now, I don't trust politicians as far as the next person should, so please do take that with a pinch of salt. The digital euro project will start in November and will initially last 2 years. It will involve finalising a digital euro rulebook and selecting providers which could help develop digital infrastructure. So again, this is how it's going to be labelled as it's here to help you. We're here to look after you. We want to work with you. It's all about you, but in secret, it's about control. It's can they, they're in bed with Davos. Can they, on their massive cartel, take over your life as much as possible? And digital currency really is going to be a nail in the coffin. In response to what the ECB has said, Reform UK leader Richard Tice said, and I quote, we are 100% opposed to central banking and digital currencies. End quote. Gawain Towler also added, and I quote, this would give governments the power to control people's lives. The thing about digital currency is if you've got Mahatma Gandhi running it, it's lovely. But modern politicians who would sell their grandmothers to get 5 more points in the opinion polls are not Mahatma Gandhi. I would not trust them an inch. When it comes to the digital currency itself, it isn't evil, it's morally inert. It's about how it's used. End quote. I had to think about that for a second, my apologies. So yeah, again, this is something I completely agree with. It's about control, it's about taking over your life as best as possible. And for people that are listening to this thinking, Rob, you're off on a tangent, you're a bit, OCD with this, or, you've gone a bit bonkers. Trust me on this. There's not enough of us that are realizing what's going on. There's not enough of us that are standing up for what's going on. We need to take more action. And again, it goes back to why we say, look at gold, look at silver, and look at natural resources. Can you buy some land with, do you have your own water source? Things like that. I wouldn't trust government either, to be perfectly honest. It's all about control. He does go on to say, Gawain Towler does go on to say that, and I quote, it's another step on the road to a society completely controlled by our political masters. He controls the money supply, controls everything. If you've got cash in your hand, you control that cash. You decide how that cash is spent. If you want to go out and have a big blow up, that's up to you. Whereas, can you imagine never having a blowout again because the government does not approve? End quote. Nigel Farage, a former Brexit Party leader. I like Nigel Farage. I think he's really good, got some great ideas. He's previously voiced his concerns. He's been debanked recently as well for not having the right political views. Also very, very dangerous. He's fighting back and continues to fight back against that. And again, I agree with everything in this article. It's an eye-opener. This should be an eye-opener for everyone. And we'll go back to the cash. If you've got cash in your hand, you've got the control of that cash. Fantastic. What's happening now is that more places are deciding to be card only or contactless only. And that's really ruining the cash aspect. Now, they're doing this under the guise of pandemic and we don't want to, spread the germs around or whatever it might be. And it's just a prelude for what's coming down the road. Digital currencies will probably be implemented and they're going to control your life. They're not going to control mine, so I'm going to do my damnedest to get out of it. But they're going to control a lot of people's lives, and there's going to be that reliance on the state. That's what you've got to fight. That's what I've got to fight. That's what we have to fight moving forward. So it might start like this, but then it'll be, well, you're not allowed a petrol or diesel car. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to spend on this. Oh, you've got a fuel allowance, by the way, because we're all working towards this net zero mumbo jumbo. It starts off with one thing, but then it just goes up and up and up and up and up. And that's where it gets really dangerous. A cashless society is coming. Big banks want it. And that's just a damning indictment. It really is an absolute pain in the backside. And this is what is going to happen. We're going to go down this route, and we're on the slippery slope. It's dangerous if it continues. And more people need to be aware of this. We've got to open our eyes more to what's going on, reasons why it's been going on, and we've got to have a different way of thinking. This is why we love doing these videos, sharing this message with you, that we have to act with caution. We're on that slippery slope already, and it should not continue, because we're going to end up with that aspect where our lives are completely controlled by the government. And we know from experience that the government does not know what's best for you, does not know what's best for myself. And please tell as many people as you can about this video. It's really important that more people are aware to the importance of a digital currency and why it's very bad for society in general. Please do subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the podcast as well. It really does help us move forwards. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.